Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Skull,
I'm Zombie Cat.
and this is the Horror Den. Now, today we will be covering a spoiler-free review of The First Omen that we just got back from the movie theater after watching it. We recorded our short earlier, and we posted it, and people have already seen it, so this is the review that we were referencing. Now, before we get into it, again, this will be spoiler-free.
Yeah, no spoilers.
And as you can tell by our shirts, in the future you will be seeing us wear these other shirts again. And the reason for me telling you that is because we have a movie review coming out very soon that kind of falls in line with the premise of this movie a little bit. We covered Rosemary's Baby, and it will be released in a few weeks. So without further ado, let's get into it. Just kind of a brief synopsis of the plot without any spoilers, and then we'll go into what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, and we'll end with our review score. So I know you had some strong opinions leaving the movie theater, so I'm going to hand it off to you.
So the movie follows a girl named Margaret who's transferring from America to Rome, right?
She's becoming a nun.
Yeah, she's becoming a nun, and this is also during a period there's a lot of work-related, like, riots going on. There's a lot of religious, like, disbelief going on, like, people are turning from the church.
Which I'm sure might have some kind of historical significance, but I'm not familiar with what was going on.
I don't know anything about...
It takes place in 71.
1971 in Rome, so yeah. So she gets to this church, and in your typical possession movie things, there's a dark kind of undertone going on that we can't get into. So spooky stuff starts happening, and it just spirals into learning more and more about this church that might be up to something a little more sinister than it seems.
You know, something we discussed in the car, I don't think this is a spoiler. I think it's more of a clarification. This is a direct prequel to the original Omen.
Yeah, I went into this movie completely blind because I love to do that. I may have watched like a teaser trailer, I think on Snapchat, clicking through. I remembered seeing like snippets, but that's it. I was like, I don't want to spoil it. I'm not a huge like possession/demon movie fan. Typically, like, it's just not my cup of tea. It's just been done so many times, so...
When we were coming of age, the horror movies that were popular were Paranormal Activity, Insidious, Annabelle, the whole Conjuring universe.
Yeah, it's a genre of horror that I'm really burnt out on. Like, I guess I'll leave it to you to discuss what you like and don't like first.
So, without getting into spoilers, which, in order to really, like, talk about some of the gripes that we have and some of the likes that we have, it would lead to spoilers, so we're going to refrain from that, and we'll come back to this movie at another time.
I was about to say, if you'd like to see a spoiler version, I'd be happy to talk about it and give my reasons for my opinion on the movie. But
I mean, that kind of goes for any
anything.
Any spoiler-free reviews we do from here on out. Like, if you want us to do a spoiler review, we will gladly do so. Just going into likes and dislikes. For me personally, I walked out and I wasn't disappointed with the movie. I actually thought that it was pretty decent. And, you know, I wasn't disappointed at all. Like, I felt like it was worth going to watch. And you felt the opposite.
Yeah, I did not like this movie in the slightest. I really didn't.
It was a little surprising for me because, like, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it was the best horror movie of the year, because it most definitely was not.
In my opinion, I will think you will at least agree on this. Say you're somebody on a budget right now and say you can either go to the movies, spend $10 on this, probably get popcorn and a drink, whatever, or either stay at home and watch Late Night with the Devil on Shudder. Watch Late Night with the Devil on Shudder. Save this for DVD.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely going to purchase it when it becomes available. If we were not doing this channel, I probably would have waited.
A lot of people are going to disagree with me because I don't know the Rotten Tomatoes score, but I know critics are loving this movie. Like, just in my opinion, I think you should wait for it to go on DVD. Maybe get it on like a sale. Then
this is one of those movies that I personally liked it. I would rewatch it. I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, he did like it. So
if we didn't have this channel, I wouldn't have gone to see it in theaters. That's what my opinion. Even after watching it, I would have waited. It's not the best horror movie of the year. You know, go out, form your own opinion. You know, we're just two dudes who like horror. If you're watching this, you obviously like it too, or at least have an appreciation for it. So you make your own opinion. That's ours. So some specific things that I liked were without
There is
getting...
a few things we do agree on.
Yeah.
So.
The use of practical effects.
Awesome.
And
awesome
even
practical
CGI effects to enhance the practical effects. There were some scenes in this movie, one in particular, which I really wish I could talk about, but I can't.
I don't think we could even talk about it in spoilers because it's rough.
It's hands down the most visceral and grotesque practical effects mixed with other effects that I've probably ever seen in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, hands down. And I think, by the look that...
down.
Yeah. Yeah, hands down. And I could tell that D-Mac was probably agreeing with me a little bit there.
I feel like anybody who watches this movie, at least that scene, practical effects, I don't know why that took... If you're somebody who's into practical effects and don't mind gore or like edginess to a movie, I feel like you're gonna love that scene. That it like pushed some boundaries. Even for me, I was like, "Whoo, that's rough."
There was a moment there where I felt like I was back in health class, and I think that says exactly what anybody needs to know.
Yeah.
Besides that, I mean, this is not a spoiler because it's in the trailer. When the nun with no eyebrows...
That was great.
When she's up on the balcony, that was a great scene.
She's covered in like
some kind of oil.
It's like oil, gasoline, something like that.
Yeah.
Fire starter, who knows? But
something else I got to give this movie credit for is that not all the good parts are in the trailer. They didn't give everything away.
Yeah, fair enough.
Some other things that I like. I have watched the original Omen pretty recently. I watched it last October.
And I watched it when I was itty bitty.
So I'm kind of coming in this with a more fresh viewpoint. A good thing that the movie did was I felt that it gave a little bit of background knowledge to what's going on in the first one. That if you were to, after seeing this, go watch the first one again and have this stuff in mind in the back of your head, like I think it makes the first one a little better.
The music was beautiful. I loved the music. It was very scary. It got under my skin. I can't lie. I did not get scared one time watching this movie. I really didn't. But the music probably scared me the most. It was beautiful music, beautiful cinematography. There's an alleyway shot with the main protagonist. That looks so cool. It gave me like the Exorcist poster vibes.
Yeah, there was a couple of shots in here that were very reminiscent of The Exorcist.
Something else I really liked in this movie was the acting. All the performances were very solid. I don't know the main actress's name, but I do know a priest that shows up at the beginning of the movie, and he's kind of like a recurring character through the movie who gives the main character like tidbits of what might be going on at this creepy church. But he was in The Witch. He was the dad in The Witch. He was also in one of my favorite movies, Ready Player One.
Great movie.
It's so awesome. So I'm gonna get into some more negatives. I can't help but mention there's a scene, we won't say what it is, but we all really think it's bad. You'll know it immediately when you see it.
When you come across a scene that's about 2 minutes too long, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
It happens in a parking lot.
Yep.
Let's just say there's barking involved. It's pretty freaking hilarious. I can't lie. That actually got a laugh out of me.
My wife really liked this movie. She went with us, and even she was laughing during this scene, which it was not meant to be funny.
Not at all. That was supposed to be very scary, and it was not. That was very cringy to me. The story, to me, like I said, the majority of people seem to be loving this movie, so to me the story feels very all over the place. Like there's characters brought into this story. When you kind of figure out what's going on with the church, it's like really dumb. It is so dumb. Like it's really just all over the place. That's honestly the main gripe. I counted almost seven, at least 6 fake out jump scares, and I cannot stand it. Like, it's not scary. It never has been scary to me. When someone puts their hand on somebody's shoulder and they're like, oh, somebody slaps their hand on a window and it's supposed to be like, oh, that's just not scary. It's not. Give me something to be scared of when you're showing me a jump scare. It all just piled up, and it just became a very generic possession demon movie to me that I've seen 100 times in the last 2 years probably.
And going off of that, I'm not on like the total opposite end of the spectrum, because I didn't like absolutely love the movie. I thought that it was a solid average movie. Zombie Cat here, talking about his points with the story. I agree with him, and I can definitely see where it's like, if you don't know the Omen that well, like, I can totally see where you would feel that way. And also, the parts that you hate about the story, like, I liked it a little bit more because it reinforced the first one and kind of gives some more context. So maybe with that, filter in my thought process, maybe that's why I like it a little more. That doesn't give excuses to why it's a little, like, even you should be able to know what direction they're going.
Man, it kills me because a lot of people are just praising this movie, and like I said, like, I feel like some people might just be overlooking it, but that might just be me.
I mean, this could be one of those movies that people are looking at through rose-colored glasses.
Maybe people just wanted to see a new Omen movie.
I think the Omen remake came out in the 2000s.
So consider my opinion, but take it with a grain of salt, because it seems like most people are enjoying this.
Go into this movie with reasonable expectations and you won't be disappointed. Don't think it's going to be the most, game-changing thing in the world.
Go in with average expectations, and I'd say you'd come out being like, okay. I went in already with pretty low expectations, and it even upset me a little bit, but a lot of people went in with very low expectations like I did. A lot of people were like, oh, it surprised me because I went in expecting it to be so bad. So,
go watch the movie for yourself. And then if you agree with us, let us know. If you don't agree with us,
yeah, if you're a
talk
fan,
to us.
If you're a fan of these type of movies, I would say go see it in theaters, because like I said, I wouldn't want anybody to miss out on something that one day they'd love and be like, I wish I saw that in theaters.
I think it's just important to keep in mind that we are two horror fans, that we are shaped by the genre that was relevant when we
like we mentioned earlier, literally endless movies about this kind of stuff. If I had to recommend something to you, I'd say save your money, get a subscription to Shudder, if they even have like a free trial maybe. Go watch Late Night with the Devil. If you want a possession movie that will get under your skin, I recommend Late Night with the Devil easily over this. Say if you had to pick one or the other, go watch Late Night with the Devil.
I agree with that. All right, guys, I think it's about time that we got into our review scores. So our first category, like always, is story. Since I'm kind of taking the helm on this video, I'll let you give your score first.
Very all over the place, very rushed, unnecessary characters, unnecessary moments, a lot of filler. The movie was pretty long. It was like 2 hours, I believe, and a lot of that could have easily been cut down. Just in my opinion, again, like I said, people seem to be liking this, but I'd say a 5. That's the highest I could give it. I really can't give it any higher than a 5.
Well, I'm giving it a solid above average 7. I think that I've voiced kind of already why I'm giving it a 7, because I felt like it reinforced the first movie as a solid prequel. And because of that, I gave it a 7. I felt like there were some expectations that I had that, even though I made some really good guesses that were right, I was glad that they were right. I'm giving the story a solid 7. You gave it a 5, which gives us an average of 6 for story. Now we're going to get into characters, which is our second category, which was a little difficult for me to score.
Yeah, this one's going to be pretty rough for me. Like I said, the only 2 characters I really cared about was the main character and the priest we mentioned, who's the really cool guy and the witch, but like 4 for me. Like, I really did not care about these characters at all. Like, I wasn't attached, really. I was just... There was nothing to really draw me in and attach me to these characters.
I think that's a pretty fair assumption. You said you gave it a 4. I think that's pretty fair. At least from how you're voicing about it. I gave the characters a 6, just because I felt that it was slightly above average. I mean, I agree with you. There was not every character like I gave a damn about. But, there were some interesting character choices, like even with some background characters that I thought were interesting. So I gave it a 6. You gave it a 4. Gives us an average of 5 for characters. So our next category, our third category, is antagonist, which is a little complicated for us to talk about without diving too deep into spoilers. So this will be intentionally left vague.
I give it a 3 because it's literally, like I was saying earlier, it's something in a barrel of thousands of movies with this same kind of antagonist. And then towards the end, something happens and it makes it even worse. See,
I gave antagonist a 6, kind of for the same reasons. I think we have seen these kind of antagonists before, but I felt like there were some unique twists and some unique like pinpoints in this that made it unique enough for me to grant it a 6, which is slightly above average on our score level. So I gave it a 6. You gave it a 3, which gives us an average of 4.5 for antagonist. Our next category, which is also a little difficult to talk about, which is humor. I don't think the movie was intentionally funny.
No, not at all. Yeah, there's some pretty hilarious, non-intentional funny moments, especially the one we mentioned earlier with a scene in a parking lot that goes on for way too long. I kind of chuckled at how stupid the story was at times, but I won't really count that against it, but probably like a 2. Just because that one scene is so cringy that it honestly is going to become a little iconic to me because it was so cringy. It was pretty rough.
So for humor, you gave it a 2.
Yeah.
I gave humor a 3 for the same exact reason. I think that the humorous parts of the movie were at the detriment of the movie. So I don't think that the humor is there. And I mean, having a low humor score doesn't mean a bad movie.
No,
it just
not at
means
all.
that it wasn't funny. In some aspects, having a low score is a good thing, but I think that the fact that the score is not a 1 in terms of humor is even worse because this whole movie was supposed to be serious.
My 2 is for a scene that is not supposed to be funny.
Exactly. The fact this is one of the rare scenarios where the points that we've given it
it's
not a good thing.
Insult. It's almost an insult.
So you gave it a 2 for humor. I've decided to give it a 3 for humor. It's a 2.5 for humor. Now, heading into our last 2 categories, we have scariness. We have both said that this movie's not scary.
There's really nothing in this movie that scared me. It honestly made me angry when it tried to be scary because, like I said, this whole movie is jump scares, and every jump scare is a fake out. I can't think of one that was legit besides a dream sequence, which is fake. It's typical and slaps on a window or dream sequences. It's that kind of jump scares. There was maybe 1 or 2 I forgot about, but it's just jump scares. Give me something to be scared of without a loud banging noise to try to startle you. It's like that's gonna make anybody jump. You're not scared. A loud noise just screamed in your ear. The only points I'm truly going to be giving it for scariness is going to be from the practical effects that were awesome once again. I'd say like a 3 just for that one scene, to be honest. Well, maybe there's 2 scenes. There's 2 scenes I like. One with the lady covered in oil, gasoline, so...
See, for the same exact reasons, I gave it a 4. And that's not because of the movie as a whole. It's just I had to give it props, because those are 2 scenes that I thought were really executed really well. And I'm sure that there are some other couple of effects that were used throughout the movie that, like,
oh, yeah.
It made my skin crawl a little bit in terms of, like, body horror, which I really enjoy. So you gave it a 3. I gave it a 4. Average of 3.5. And last, but certainly not least of our categories for The First Omen, is experience. How did we feel about the movie as a whole in unison?
I was bored out of my mind, to be honest. I really didn't like it. I feel crazy because I'm seeing so much positivity around it, and I want to be a part of the positivity, but it's like I just can't. Like, it was all over the place for me. There was no good scares outside of some really cool practical effects once again. So for me, I give it like a 5, just very on the line, average possession demonic movie for me.
So I also gave it a 5, even though I think that this is a good movie and worth the watch. I don't have as many negative opinions about it as a whole. I still think that at the end of the day, this is a pretty average run-of-the-mill supernatural horror experience. Do I think that the practical effects deserve, its own like spotlight? Yes. Do I think that there were some redeeming qualities in this? Yes. Do I think that this sets up the original Omen very well? In my opinion, yes. I still have to give it a 5 because it didn't blow me out of the water. And
it's also, I want to say, it's not a movie I hated. Like, I would watch it again, maybe to be like, okay, let's see if maybe I missed something that all these people are raving about. Like, I almost want to try it again, but...
In a few years, or if people want to see us do a spoiler review of this, I would love to rewatch the movie and see how our scores line up.
Yeah, I just really don't see it. I don't see why. Like I said, no offense. If you've seen the movie and you love it, or if you go see it, tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. But it's just like, I don't understand what's making people love it so much. I really don't.
Yeah, well, that about settles it, guys. That was our opinion of the First Omen.
All right, so it's time for us to play our Rotten Tomatoes guessing game on the First Omen. This one's gonna be hard because I avoided this like the plague, trying to not look at the review scores.
Okay, since I suck at this game, I demand to go first. Okay, my guess for the First Omen is that the critic score is currently sitting at 94%.
Ooh, that's high.
I think that the audience score is sitting at 88%.
For me, I'm gonna say 74 from critics, and from audience, maybe a 71. I think that's my final answer.
Okay, so the critic score for the First Omen is 79%,
Wow. Okay.
and then the audience score is at 68%. So
Wow.
I won that one.
You also take
Dang.
So
Considering the fact that it's been rave reviews, like, I'm kind of surprised.
I mean, that's pretty good for the way I was bashing on it. A lot of people, like, that's a positive score.
it's well above average, but it is no Late Night with the Devil.
Mm-mm.
Right.
In this movie, just a quick minor gripe on the poster. They say it's the scariest movie of the year. That takes a lot of courage to put on a poster when Late Night with the Devil just came out.
Yeah.
Once again, just my opinion. You can comment and tell us how wrong we are if you want to. Just leave a paragraph telling us why we're wrong. I don't care.
And share it with your friends to prove how much of an idiot we are. You know. So, we have a couple of announcements to get to. We have a couple of videos that we've referenced that are ready to go. DMAC is just currently still editing them, and then we will release them as they come. So as of the time of this filming, we have a new creepypasta coming out. We have another one that's currently being planned. We have Grave Encounters 2 coming up soon. We have Late Night with the Devil spoiler-free review coming after this one. It's been recorded since last week when we posted our short. Now, beyond that, we have Rosemary's Baby review coming up afterwards, and we have a couple more planned. Now, if you have any horror movie suggestions, let us know. If you have any creepypasta suggestions, let us know. Now, we have another big announcement, thanks to the wonderful support of one of our patrons.
My mom.
Yeah!
I'll just say she donated us a bit of money to help us get our first piece of equipment to help us get more microphones, and thank you, Mom.
Big thank you to Zombie Cat's mom. We appreciate it. Thank you. We greatly appreciate you here at the Horror Den. Now, another big thank you that we have to give is to you guys.
I thought the Room Zero video might be a little bit of a flop, and to be honest, we were discussing that being our last creepypasta because we were like, I feel like people might just want to see the movies and they don't really care
because
as
we've
much.
gotten more views from this. If you go and look at our other movie reviews stacked up against Abandoned by Disney, I mean, I think it kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
But the fact that this video, we went to bed less than 24 hours after we posted it. It was at 65 views when I went to sleep. Mm-hmm. And when I woke up in the morning, it was at 200. That's a really big jump, and I was impressed with that. And then by that afternoon, we had reached over 600 views.
We gained almost 20 subscribers. I'd
Yeah.
say.
So if you are new to the channel because of that video, thank you.
Thank you. That literally made me so happy. Like, I never expected that to happen. Like, that was so, like, humbling. It was just like, man.
So if you're one of the new people that doesn't know us and are new to the channel and you've actually stayed for the whole video, thank you. We greatly appreciate it. You are welcome here, and yeah, we're happy to have you as new additions to the Horror Den family. Some extra special news. We are currently in discussions with one of our fans, Smite Lad, who I personally know outside of this. And you've probably seen his comments down below. Well, he's an artist, and we're currently in collaboration with making a new profile picture, a new banner, and potentially something of an intro in the future. So I'm really excited about that.
We also want to give a big shout out to our patrons. So thank you once again. You can subscribe to us if you'd like to support the channel. You can go as low as $5 a month if you'd like your name at the end of the video. We all three work full-time jobs. All proceeds go right back into the channel, every dime of it. So just to invest in equipment, essentially. So
yeah, and set stuff and other things like that. But like always, if that money ever changes a purpose, you will be the first ones to know. We have an Instagram, so make sure you go follow and like our post and keep up to date with all of our real world escapades, like going to see the movie today. And you can find us over at the Horror Den channel on Instagram. Make sure you like and comment on this video and share it with your friends or anybody.
I'll be sure to leave the link to our Instagram and Patreon in the description.
Yes, that would be very nice. So like, comment, subscribe, the usual that you hear from everybody. If you have an opinion about this movie, let us know down below. Or if you're excited about any of the upcoming videos that we've announced, let us know. Or if you want to see a spoiler review, let us know. We'll gladly do so. And always remember, stay spooky out there.